Good day. Thank you for joining me for my latest episode of Under the Cupola. My name is Leon Gaumond, and I have the honor and privilege of being the town manager here for the town of Weston. And I want to thank you for joining this show. As you probably know, if you've watched previous episodes of this show, you know that I talk to a lot of people who make Weston very special. And up to this point, it's been a lot of municipal employees. They're easier for me to get sometimes to come onto a TV show like this. But today we're welcoming somebody who works very closely within the community that is not a town employee, and her name is Pam Hess. Pam, thank you for joining me and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Leon.
So tell me a little bit about Pam Hess, and more importantly, tell me a little bit about Land's Sake, because you are the chief cook and bottle washer over at the Land's Sake program here in Weston. Tell me a little bit about Land's Sake.
Sure. So I feel really privileged to be starting my 9th year at Land's Sake Farm. We are a community farm that I hope most of, if not all of your listeners know about us and hopefully have visited us. As a community farm, our goal is to get people outside and connected to the land, and we do that by having community events. We do that by offering education programs for all, and then by growing food for this community and beyond. And so we think it's a pretty magic place that has changed a lot over the last decade. Let's just say we've been there for over 40 years with providing opportunities for the community. In the last few years, I'm sure everyone's noticed a few changes.
Yeah. So one of the things that was really interesting to me when I started here as the town manager was, after 20 years of being in town administration, this is the first time that I've ever experienced something this unique in municipal life. Having a municipal, a property owned by the town, basically subleased to a nonprofit group that does this kind of community farming smack dab in the center of the community is quite interesting. How did that come about?
So I think what happened was back in the 70s, there were lots of things happening in the town as well as the world about trying to engage people and connect them to the land. And there was already a group called Green Power, who was actually on the north side of Weston, run by a town employee, which was basically providing opportunities for high schoolers here in Weston to farm, and then everything they grew was donated. And that parcel is located behind the community gardens, and Land's Sake still is there, and it's still called the Green Power Fields. And then there was this parcel that was at that time owned by the Arboretum, who was looking to annex it from its kind of holdings. And at first there was this idea that a developer wanted to buy it and put 6 McMansions. And luckily for Land's Sake, and I think Weston and the surrounding communities, local residents said that's not what they wanted. They wanted to preserve the farming history of the town, and this was a place that was so unique, and so they got together to really protect it for the sake of the land, or Land's Sake, which is where our name comes from. And because of that push of local residents to the town and beyond, the town of Weston bought it. It's a municipal property, our main farm, and we actually combined those two groups. Land's Sake and Green Power became one to really help preserve that farming history and provide opportunities. So
we have granted by town meeting, we have an extended lease with you folks for many years. How many more years do we have a lease with you for that property?
Sure. So after being on a 3-year lease for almost 40 years, we were able to get a 30-year lease with the town that started in January of 2018. So we are still early on in that, and we're very pleased to say we, more than 25 years. You're making me do math in public, and that's not my strength. That is why I work on a farm, but I do numbers.
So we still have a couple of decades of you folks working in the center of town, doing all of the programs that you talked about. Tell me a little bit about the programs that you folks run there. What kinds of things would visitors and residents be, should they be available, should they know about,
Sure. So as a nonprofit, which sometimes we get confused of kind of what we are and what we offer, we really try and do everything within kind of our 3 buckets of our mission. So it's the easiest way to talk about what people can do on the farm. So the first would be, obviously, we're a farm, so we grow food. Depending on the weather, which really impacts how much food we grow, it's about 140,000 pounds of food grown each year using organic methods. We are not a certified organic farm, but if they allow it on an organic farm, it's how we kind of manage the farm. And what that means is that's about the equivalent of 600,000 to 700,000 servings of food a year is what we produce. And that's kind of spread out in 3 ways. 1, people can come to the farm stand and buy it. 2, they can buy a CSA, which is basically like a farm share. You purchase it before the season comes, and then once a week for 20 weeks, you pick up your share, which helps support the farm in a slower season because you're buying it in the winter. And then 3rd, we donate 30% of everything that is grown on the farm and harvested to those with food insecurity. So what that means is for people who can't afford to put fresh food on their plates, we're making sure they're getting that. And that is actually supported by the town. We're very thankful every year we do get funds from the town to support those efforts here and beyond. So that's kind of one part. Our second part is our education, and which has grown astronomically since 2017 when I started here. We used to have a much smaller seasonal program, and now we offer programs year-round. We work with preschool, schools, high schools, past, beyond, kind of every stage in life. We do programs with the schools, and we're really thankful for our relationship with the schools here in town. Pretty much every grade in pre-K through elementary comes to the farm, and we go there. And then we work with the middle schoolers. Actually, we have a sugar house, which many of you, I hope, have been to, where we make maple syrup and have a really strong program where middle schoolers are helping us do that. We have high school interns who help us with all of our programs. And then we have opportunities for adults, whether it's workshops or one of our newest things, which I hope people will join us, is our volunteer brigade. People come on Thursdays from 10 to 12 and help us on the farm. They see all of what we do. It's an opportunity to really engage, get your hands dirty, and see what the farm's about. And then probably our third piece, which a lot of people participate in, is our community pieces. And what that to us means making sure everyone has the opportunity to be outside and active, because we think the outdoors is something everyone has the right to.
Yeah.
So we do, whether it's events where we have music and a food truck and people just come and enjoy the farm that way. We do free programs called Open Farmyard twice a week where people come with their kids and engage with our animals and our education garden. We do ticketed events such as in this fall, kind of the biggest one that's coming up is Pie Fest on September 22nd, where you can come and get blue ribbon barbecue, listen to music, play games, and focus on pie and really enjoy being outside on the farm. So our goal is to get everyone to connect with us and help people engage with the outdoors, whether it's picking flowers, eating our food, or coming to an event.
Not for nothing, but you could have brought pie for us right today.
I could have brought pie, just as a visual. I should have. I also thought about bringing flowers.
No, not for visual at all.
To eat.
Yeah. Well, you've really outlined a lot of different opportunities and programs. I'm assuming you have a website that you detail all of these activities, your calendar, and that sort of thing?
We do. Thank you for helping to remind me to say that. Our website is landsake.org, and there's 2 S's in the middle of that. And you can get a weekly email from us that talks about all of the upcoming events. You can get on the website and see what we have for sale that week at the farm stand, or kind of any of our upcoming events, and sign up to join us.
So a lot of changes at Landsake
Yes.
over the last few years. When I started here a few years ago, literally it was just the stand, and you folks came before the select board and sought their approval to put some buildings up. Tell me about that project.
Sure. So that has been a huge undertaking.
I can imagine.
As soon as we got that long-term lease, we started really planning what did we want to do and what did we need to do that. And the first thing was we wanted to do more of all of these things, grow more food, get more kids and families and adults on the farm, and provide more opportunities to connect. And for us to be able to do that, we needed to improve our infrastructure. And as a nonprofit, what that means is first we needed the approval of the landowner, which is the town. And then we needed the community to get behind us because we fundraise. Our whole budget is raised through what we do. And we're incredibly lucky to be in this very generous community who helped us by both telling us what they wanted, showing up at events and saying we support you, and then also supporting us with resources. And that was a $6 million campaign. Wasn't supposed to be, but everyone knows COVID hit and changed everything and how we do everything and the cost of everything. But with that money, we were able to go from having seasonal water and no power and no indoor space to having a greenhouse that allows us to expand what we grow, and hoop houses, which are unheated greenhouses, allowing us to expand our growing season. We were able to bring a barn onto the farm that was now our center for education, which allows us to have animals there year-round and really expand what we can offer the community in programming. And then the brand new farm stand, which opened right at the beginning of June, which is built really thinking about sustainability, because that's so important to Landsake and I know Weston. And we built what is a net zero building, which means those huge solar panels that you see are providing enough power to run the farm stand and our coolers and our whole operations, but it's also a tight building. So it keeps in the heat and keeps in the cool depending on the season, and we really focus on what that means. But having that building also means we have more opportunities to have different kinds of things in the building and providing for the community. So a little bit more to come, but the project fundraising is done. Our last piece of it is in the back by our greenhouses, is really putting an equipment barn in, which is really because we have all of our equipment sitting outside because we have no place to store it. We've never had storage. So it's a very simple building, but it will actually allow us to get our equipment out of the elements when we're not using it and provide a place for us to actually fix our stuff in a heated place when it's a little bit slower on the farm.
So you keep using a word that I want to ask you about. You keep using the word we. So who are the we? I know it's not just you. You have people that work there, but you also have a governing board. Tell me about that.
Sure. So thank you. We is our staff, our volunteers, and our board. Our board is made up of 12 volunteers who most live in Weston and Wellesley currently, but it's really made up of people who love the farm, who are willing to share their time and expertise with us, and they really help to guide us financially as well as programmatically, and really are our eyes and ears in the community, and really are important to us to share kind of what they're hearing about the farm. We do have a paid staff who you see running many of our education programs or at the farm stand, and many of our farmers, but a core piece of who we are our volunteers who come. Some come once with their corporate volunteers, others come every week. We have some volunteers who've been with us for 15, 20 years who share their time, their passion and love of the outdoors with us, and we're so lucky to have them.
Yeah, well, if someone wants to be a volunteer, I'm assuming they can do that through your website?
They can, whether it's the volunteer brigade on Thursdays or if they want to become a work share and work with our farmers once a week. We're always looking for people who want to share their love and passion with us.
And I'm assuming you folks are still looking for donations to keep your programs running and any capital programming you need to?
Yes, thank you. We certainly are. We have to raise every year our operating costs, and a lot of that, like our hunger relief work, is something that we are committed to, but all of that is done through fundraising specifically to allow us to do that. We have a third of our programs are offered for free. And the only way we're able to do that is because of the support of people really towards our education programs. And so operating is expensive. And yes, now with buildings for the first time, like I've never had to pay to, take care of a bathroom before or a building before. And now we do. So really changing a little bit of how we operate. It's all new to us.
Yeah. Well, I wish you the very best. Is there anything else you want to add about the Landsake programs or your operations?
Sure. I guess I would add Landsake is here because of the community love and support of the town and the community. And I really hope everyone takes advantage of coming out and seeing this magical place, which belongs to all of us.
So, as I said at the very beginning, these kinds of discussions are about what makes Weston unique and special, and Landsake is certainly something that's unique and special for this community. I want to thank you for coming out and doing this program with me today. It's appreciated. And I want to thank you, the viewers, for tuning in to another episode, and I'll see you next time under the cupola.